Good afternoon, greetings. This is the CraftsWomban back. Welcome to my channel. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Today, I want to have a conversation with the doula, Amara Ali. She is a recent graduate of the CraftsWomban online doula training, and we want to get to know her. During this time, people are looking for doulas. So even if you're not locally in her area, you can reach out to her and get a virtual consultation. And we're gonna talk to her and find out more about what she offers. So thank you for joining me so much. Thank you for taking this time out of your busy schedule to
Thank you for having me.
to come and talk and share with everybody about how did you get into the doula industry? What made you want to become a doula?
Okay, it was several things actually for me. I was experiencing like these really, really long, painful periods, and I went to the gynecologist several times, and like they kept trying to just throw like ibuprofen and Tylenol at me, and I'm like, that just, that just kind of like covers up the pain. That's not an actual solution. And they were like, I'm like, is this the best that Western medicine has to, have to offer? And then so there was that. I also was getting into just grounding myself spiritually, and the big part when it comes to women is our womb. Our womb is basically, it holds everything that makes us us. And so I started reading Sacred Woman by Queen Afua. That actually, and so combined with that, and then you hear all of these horrific stories about how Black women are like dying in hospitals because of neglect, because of inadequate care, because of racist doctors and nurses who withhold the proper care. So I just felt like I was being drawn to, do something about that. And we have a really high infant mortality rate for the Black babies being born over here in America, which is ridiculous considering we're a first world country, but we have like the numbers of a so-called third world country. And you have all these Black women dying, and it's like we don't really care unless it was like famous women like Kim Porter. She just passed away because of inadequate care from her doctors. Serena Williams almost, she had really severe complications during her pregnancy and her birth and labor, which all of this could have been avoided if we had people who could advocate for Black women, basically birth workers, doulas. And I just was like, I think this is something that I cannot just, make a career of, but it can become a passion.
And what services and products do you offer right now for women?
Right now, I'm really into the total womb wellness, um, prenatal, birth, postpartum, and I've been doing the vaginal steaming, practicing on myself. Of course, I love it. It definitely works. And of course, I took your online seminar for the vaginal steaming, and so I offer that as well. And once I, do more studying, I'll do the lactation certification.
Okay, so right now there's a lot of women who are afraid to go in the hospital because of the pandemic that's going on.
Right.
So what kind of advice do you have for them at this moment if they're pregnant and they feel like they have to go to the hospital to have their babies?
For actual birth and labor?
Yeah, for labor.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I know as of right now, they're not letting the fathers in the room until the baby's actually out. So if you do choose that option, you're gonna have to do it with a room full of doctors and nurses with no actual support system. If you actually do go to a hospital to do that, and I think that takes a really a really big toll on the mother, because you have no support system. You're surrounded by these faces, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to be white faces or faces of people that you don't know or recognize. And you're going to have to, perform this, deeply spiritual thing where you're bringing another being into this world with no one around you who's advocating or supporting you. So I would definitely, first, I would say think twice before deciding to have your baby in a hospital at this time, because they're being really strict when it comes to other people in the room, and also with the contact, because after your baby's born, you will have very limited contact with your child. So that bonding time, that time to, really spiritually grow with your child, it will be cut short, and you will be separated from your child, and then they will try to get you out of the hospital as quickly as possible. So it's kind of going to be almost like they're going to try to get you in and out, kind of like a speedy delivery service, but you'll be all alone basically. So I actually wouldn't recommend it. But if you are going to go into a hospital, I would definitely just be very aware. You already know, just wash your hands. We know that common sense. We were taught like that. Wash your hands constantly. Don't touch your face. Um, as a pregnant woman, stay away from sick people. So little children, they get sick easily. I would, if you don't have to be around them, don't be around them. Most of us are under stay-at-home orders, so we're not really under any danger of mixing with people who are sick. But if you do have to go out, it should only be for, the grocery store and the hospital. Like, that's it. And everybody should be wearing gloves, masks. But this is my thing. I've noticed with people with gloves, I want to say this. It doesn't count if you never change the gloves. Like, that is so gross. I've seen this multiple times. You can't use the same pair of gloves the whole day if you're going around touching everything. If you're touching stuff like leaving your house and you're touching the car, and then you go into the grocery store and you touch several different things using the same pair of gloves, you've defeated the purpose of wearing gloves. You might as well just keep washing your hands and using hand sanitizer. You're supposed to change your gloves frequently, just like the doctors and the nurses in hospitals, because that avoids cross-contamination. So that would be my biggest thing. So if you're going to go to the hospital, mask, gloves, hydration is key. Keeping up your immune system, no processed foods or sugars, because all that's going to attack your immune system right now when you really need that immune system to be optimal, especially during pregnancy. And if you could avoid it, have your baby at home. If you want a special time, if you want your birth to be something memorable and special and something of love and of creation, I would not recommend having it at the hospital right now, because literally it's like in and out. The dad's not there. He can't be there. He can come in, hold the baby once, and then they're ushering him right out the room. You get to spend a very short time with your child, and then y'all are separated. So, I guess it just depends on what you consider, what you really want to do.
And different hospitals have different policies, so everyone should look to see what their policies are with having a partner. I'm hearing that you can only choose one person, so it's kind of like dad or doula type of thing. And I was actually just saying the other day, like if I was to have a baby, and as much as I believe in the father being there, I will probably choose my doula over the father, because the doula actually knows things. If depending on the type of regular man,
right,
they're not really into birth. They don't really know what's going on, because as a doula, you are equipped and you're professional and you know what's on the other side. Like, the
right.
things that's really going on, so you can be there. The warning signs, when things are not looking normal, so you can
The way they are, right.
make some interventions. You can advocate for the mother a little bit more than the father. So that's just my choice if there has to be one person. We also need to don't forget about the birthing centers, because there's a lot of birthing centers that are busy.
Are they still allowed to be open right now? The birthing centers?
That is essential. I haven't heard
Okay,
that.
no, I was just making sure. Okay, good, because for some reason, I don't know, because when it comes to it, they always want to push hospital. But yeah, if you can, go to a
No.
birthing center. Absolutely.
To me, like if you're high risk, and then even that high risk can be, because if you have like, let's just say like lupus or diabetes, some people may consider you to be high risk, but some
Right.
home birth midwives will still take you. It just depends on your health status. It doesn't mean that just because you have anemia that you have. So it's a thin line between high risk and low risk. But like if you
Right.
have to have a cesarean, of course that has to be done in the hospital. And of course a
Absolutely.
doula can help you with those measures. But we still got to remember that there's birth centers out here, and of course there are home birth midwives that are, I'm pretty sure a lot of these people are really booked. And that's something else to consider too. My doulas, I was just saying that I want to talk to my doulas about how we can even survive during this time. And don't sleep on the birthing centers, because they need doulas too. So you can also
Okay.
apply with those midwives and get you some income during this time. And don't feel like, oh, just because the hospitals may have restrictions, that you still can't physically do your work. A doula is essential. A doula is pretty much like
Absolutely.
a nurse, pretty much like a nurse. So I want to know, like, if someone is pregnant, well, first of all, what area do you service?
The Dallas Fort Worth area, but I also can make a case for the New Orleans area as well, because I'm actually going back and forth almost every other month.
Okay, so you
So
can take births in New Orleans and in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So she
yes,
travels in the
yes, New
South.
Orleans native. I'm a New Orleans native, you guys. So yeah, hometown.
Okay, so if someone is pregnant, when should they contact you if they want you to be their doula, or they're inquiring about your services?
You can. I would say as soon as you get that test that says, "Hey, I'm pregnant," and you confirm with the doctor, because the thing is, there's no such thing as it's too early. You want to be able to get with a professional, a birth worker, who can, help you get your birth plan together, help you figure out, do I even want to do a home birth? Do I want like a lotus birth? Do I want to do, a water birth? They can help you with certain issues, especially new mothers who have all these fears, and they're like, I can't do this, I can't do that. If I eat this, will I hurt the baby? They have like a million and one questions. And I feel like, part of that is to ease that fear, so that energy isn't, getting with the baby, all that fear and that panic, and kind of always like anxious, that can make your baby, be born with anxiety actually. So I feel like as soon as you confirm that you're pregnant, I would get a doula. I would get a birth worker, absolutely.
And how can people contact you?
You can contact me on IG, Doula Goddess Amara. I also have Warrior Doula Goddess at yahoo.com. And later on, I'll spell it out for everyone, because they may not have caught that.
Yeah, you can go ahead and spell it out now. Phone number, any other contacts.
Okay. Well, my phone number is 504-952-1721. Yes, I am a New Orleans girl. And as I said, my IG is Doula Goddess Amara. So it's Doula Goddess Goddess Amara Amara. And you can
And okay, and how would you support a woman after she has delivered?
delivery, I think, is a very important time. After delivery, the postpartum stage, because this is the time where, you're actual mother now. The mom has been born, and it's a lot on the body physically, because you've just been through something that's as close to death as you can get for a woman. And you need a lot of mental and emotional support too. And sometimes the husbands and the fathers, they don't know, you know, what kind of support that you actually need. And a lot of times new mothers or they get really overwhelmed, uh and it just adds too much to where it can lead to postpartum depression. So we step in, and we provide just services, something as small as like, okay, if you need to take a nap, I'll be able to take care of the baby, watch the baby. Some mothers prefer to be with their baby and they just need help with chores or running errands. Or some women just need somebody to talk to because they're, like you said, they feel overwhelmed and scared and anxious, especially, like I said, new mothers, and they feel like everything they do is wrong. And some of them, they don't have anyone else that they can really talk to, you know, or feel like they can be open with. So I feel like it's definitely imperative to have someone there right after your birth. Back in the day, a lot of people used to have their moms come stay with them. They used to, have an aunt or a grandma come stay for a month or two. And, we don't really do that much these days, which I feel like we should. I feel like new mothers should have just an abundance of support, a doula, your mother, whoever can come and be there and support you in this critical time, because you are just like the baby was born, you were born too as a mother, and you need that support too. So definitely get you a postpartum doula.
Okay, and how do you feel how can we lower the infant mortality rate and the maternal mortality rate? I just usually put them together. I know that they're totally separate. We're talking about
Mm-hmm.
mothers and we're talking about infants. So unless people have just not been aware that Black women do have a crisis, it is a
Absolutely.
tragedy, just like we talk about police brutality, just like we talk about the thing of what's going on now with this pandemic. We've already had a tragedy that the government hasn't done any type of help to. Well, some of them have done a few things, like as far
Mm-hmm.
as well, just a few things. A few states have been implementing certain plans, but overall in this country, we haven't really seen it being brought to the forefront that Black mothers and Black babies are way more than 3 and 4 times more likely to die in this developed country with the specialized doctors, with the fancy hospitals. I mean, these hospitals are nice. So even still, with all of that, with all of our knowledge, with access to food, with access to free health care, we're
And
still
even with
dying.
money,
Yeah, dying. It's a great disparity. So how do you feel like this these numbers can be eliminated?
I would feel that a big part of helping these numbers go down would you should become a birth worker. And even if you don't want to become a doula, there's so many other things. You could be a doula's assistant, you can be a midwife, or you could just become an advocate for Black mothers, because the thing is, this is literally something where it takes a tribe. Like they say, it takes a tribe to raise a family or raise a child. It takes a tribe when it comes to something like that's an actual pandemic. Now that's a pandemic because we have Black women are dying at these just excessive, ridiculous high rates for no reason, because we're being neglected, or because honestly, a lot of healthcare professionals think we're exaggerating our symptoms, or they think we're exaggerating our pain, and or to be honestly, we're just not a priority. So in order to change that, we need to infiltrate the system. So like I said, become a birth worker, become a doula assistant, a midwife assistant, or just read and research and grow more knowledgeable. And when it comes time for you to give birth, get you a doula and get you a midwife. And even on the medical side of things with the Western medicine, if you feel like, maybe being a doula isn't your thing, become a nurse, become a neonatal nurse, become a OB/GYN nurse who actually cares and advocates for Black women, because that's the thing. Once we get into those hospitals, we don't really have a voice. We're being passed from doctor to nurse to nurse to doctor. Our symptoms are being, ignored or downplayed, or we're being sent home with a prescription and told to just, rest and call them if our symptoms get worse. And, by then it might be too late. So I would say educate yourself, do your research, get a doula, or become a doula like I did. So
I really like that, because that's one thing that we don't stress a lot, is that we have to like infiltrate like the birthing industry. We have to be, more of us need to become midwives and become chiropractors, because chiropractors help too.
yeah.
Prenatal massage therapists, that makes up your birth team. Becoming obstetrician, gynecologist, you know, getting more into labor delivery nurses. That is really
Right.
important that you say that, because when we get in there, we need to see people who look like us. It's just a total different experience. When I did have a hospital birth experience in Atlanta at the Grady Hospital, all of my nurses were like my aunties. They treated me so good, like I didn't even want to go. Like, it was my nurses, they were just, they treated me so good, and it was just like, it was like an auntie feeling, and we just understand each other culturally different. They even helped me with breastfeeding when the other lactation specialist could not. Like, I don't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
She just could not help me to get my baby to latch on right. But it was another lady just walked in, and she just told me, put the baby like this. And from there, I was fine. So it's something about seeing each other. So Black nurses rock. I like
Yes.
that. I like that. That's very important, that more of us come into this field so that we can, help each other. And I do have another online doula training coming up. So go to my website, CraftsWomban.com, if you want to know more information about that. So I really like that you said that, because that's really important. And that's something that we don't think about, having more of us in the medical field, in the doula industry, more of us as birth workers. So any other thing like you wanted to just add?
I would just add that I would just want more people to become invested, because this isn't something that just affects you or your mother or your sister. This is something that affects all Black women. We are at higher risk for fibroids and cysts and endometriosis, and we have a higher percentage of hysterectomies in this, country, even though we only make up about 15 to 16% of it. So we have to save our wombs, take care of our wombs, and they'll take care of us.
Right. And what's just give me like maybe 3 tips on how to on womb wellness, because I know you specialize in that too.
One, which I learned this from you, red raspberry leaf tea definitely works. It works, and when you drink this regularly and steam with it, it has shortened my periods. I used to have the worst, horrific, long 10, 14-day periods, and now my periods are down to like 5 days. And the bleeding is not heavy at all. So that's definitely one thing that I learned from you. And I actually applied that. And so red raspberry leaf is definitely something that you should invest in for steaming and to drink as a tea. Two, I would definitely say your emotional health plays a big role, and it affects your womb too. So mental health is definitely imperative. It's important. And the third tip is to, look out for one another, because sometimes there's some things that you can't see that maybe you see in somebody else. They might need help. And sometimes, we don't even know when we need help in certain areas. So I think this is definitely the time to be your sister's keeper.
That is excellent, excellent advice. And so we are going to end this session. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for this
Thank you for
wonderful
having me.
discussion. And now if you could just go ahead and end by giving us your contact information again, because these women need to get in contact with you.
Okay. So my phone number is 504-952-1721. And you can find me on Instagram at Doula Goddess Amara.
All right. Make sure you get in contact with Doula, Sister Amara. All right. Peace and love,
Thank
everybody.
you for having me. Peace.